Well, you can see I'm getting on with the front end, but I've just noticed something. You see that lip there? That means that this and the other one are the wrong way around. There's no way it will fit in the wheel because it's so tight. So I'm going to have to take them off and swap them over, and then and I have to take them off and take it apart because the bolts and nuts are behind there, behind the disc. So these are all going to have to come completely apart just to swap those over. What a pain. So I've had to take these apart obviously to fix this upper piece, but I've noticed as well that this is in the wrong place as well. It should be here to give me a 5-degree caster angle, but it's over here, which might explain in the previous video why I had such a big, why the upright was angled so steeply down. So this should actually make it a lot better hopefully, but more work to do. Well, I lost 2 hours fixing the mistake, but they're in. Let's get the steering rack on. Now that your front uprights are fitted, I now need to fit the steering rack and the steering column. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some rubber sheet that I've got here and glue it in here just to fill up some of the space this has got and stop the rack moving about and clamp it and help it to clamp it down properly. While the glue is drying, I'm going to get the steering column in. Another job done. If you remember, I needed to make these standoffs for the steering rack mounting. I'm going to say I made them, I forgot about them and panic fabricated them just now. Okay, the next task is to start mounting the engine. So I've got this intermediate engine plate that needs a bit of a clean up. Also need to remember how it mounts to the top portion of the prop shaft tunnel. But the biggest concern is this intermediate shaft. I remember it was in quite a state and the bearings were in bad condition. Unfortunately, I've not got any replacement, so I'm just going to have to run with what we've got. But it's not as bad as I remember. There's not as much play as I remember there was. So it's actually not so bad. I just need to give it a really good clean out and put some extra grease in there. Hopefully it's not too big a job, and then we can pop the engine in tomorrow morning. So this is a sort of mounting plate that goes in the top of the transmission tunnel towards the front of the car. And the engine mounting plate, well, it has a single bolt hole at the top, which isn't great. I want to add some more, but we'll go with one for now, and it's got 2 at the bottom. But what is quite worrying is that is the bolt that goes through here. Well, there's one on each side, and by the time it's gone through this metal, there's literally 2 or 3 threads holding it in. So that's not really good enough, but unfortunately this is an imperial fine threaded, I think 5/16 bolt, and because the threaded bush is already in there, I might have to just go with it. What I'm trying to do at least is find a long enough bolt to go through the other side of the car and bolt in, at least on the passenger side. I might just have to forego it on the driver's side because I don't want that sticking out where my ears, and I don't think there's enough space here to get the nut in required. So a bit frustrating, but I can't, I mean literally 2 or 3 threads on 2 bolts at the top to hold the engine in. It's not really good enough. What I probably end up doing is actually drilling out the threaded bush and just putting an M8 bolt all the way through, because this could very easily back out and you lose that engine plate. I don't think it's safe at all. Anyway, for at least the shakedown, I'll go with 1 bolt on the passenger side, a decent bolt, and then maybe just live with this on the driver's side for now. I've managed to get the engine mounting plate in. it was a faff, but it is in. It's not fully bolted in, it's just in there, but it's in situ with the bolts in. We can torque it up tomorrow. In the end, I ended up going with 6mm bolts for this top mount because I just couldn't get the tooling in, and I didn't really have the right bolts. It is a fully threaded bolt that can go through, so it's fully mounted by 2 bolts now, rather than 2 or 3 threads of a 5/16 bolt on each side. I will change it for a fully shanked bolt in future, but I haven't got that now, so we'll have to go with that. Probably an AN4 bolt or something like that.